Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to have you on today. My name is Tori Adamson, and I am the Outreach Specialist for Tools for Life, Georgia's Assistive Technology Act program. We are so excited to be joined today by two of our fellow AT Act members, if you will, as we unlock the power of recreation and look to promote accessibility for all. Just a couple of housekeeping tips. This webinar is being recorded. It will be available on our website 1 week from the live broadcast, and that is today, August 22nd. We are offering CEUs and CRCs for 1 clock hour. We will send out access information within the next couple of weeks or so, and so you can access those. We are so excited to have a live captionist with us. We want to say thank you to Heather. You can access those by utilizing the CC button or the closed caption button on your Zoom toolbar, or you can access them at streamtext.net. There is the URL on our screen right now, so you are welcome to type that in. As attendees, this is a webinar, so you do not have the ability to use your microphone or your video. There also is not a chat function, but you are welcome to ask questions in the Q&A located on your Zoom toolbar. And with that, I am going to pass it over to our presenters to introduce themselves.
Hi, thank you. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Dramatic effect. Wanted to keep you guys on your toes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Melinda Dolezal. I am the director of the TRADE program, which stands for Technology-Related Assistance for Individuals with Disabilities in New York. I am a Caucasian female in her late 30s. In this picture, I have dark brown hair with some red in it. That red it's gone. That's an old picture. With glasses and a black sweater.
Hi, my name is Bora Lee. I have been serving as a director of for the Utah Assistive Technology Program, UATP, for the last 3.5 years. To share my visual description, I am an Asian woman in my mid-40s. I have a wavy shoulder length, black hair. And on this photo, I am wearing a white shirt with just a little red, blue stripe on the shoulder. So, glad to be here. Okay, I will be taking the next couple of slides. So if you guys are ready, I will get started. And can you guys hear me okay? Okay. So when we
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, sounds good. So when we talk about assistive technology, known as AT, we are referring to any item, piece of equipment, or product system that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of individuals. This can include devices that are commercially available, as well as those that are being modified or customized to meet specific needs. So the definition comes from the 21st Century Assistive Technology Act, which emphasized the critical role that these tools play in enhancing the independence and quality of life for people with disabilities. Next slide, please. So let's talk about where they can be used. So AT is an incredibly versatile field that spans across multiple aspects of life. It's not just about tools or devices, it's about empowerment, empowering individuals with disabilities to live more independently, participate fully in their communities, and achieve their personal goals. So let's just briefly explore the various functional needs that AT can address. First, for individuals with visual impairments, AT includes a range of solutions from screen readers and magnification software to braille displays and tactile graphics. These technologies enable individuals to access information, navigate their environments, and communicate more effectively. AT for hearing supports include devices like hearing aids, cochlear implants, and FM systems. In addition, there are alerting systems that use visual or tactile signals to notify individuals of important sounds such as doorbells, alarms, or phone calls. Communication is a fundamental human need. And for those who have difficulty with speech, AT offers alternative ways to communicate. Speech generating devices or augmentative and alternative communication tools, AAC tools, allow individuals to express themselves. For learning, cognition, and developmental needs, AT in this area can include software that aid with reading, writing, memory, and organizations. So for students with learning disabilities, tools like text-to-speech programs, graphic organizers, and interactive apps can make learning more accessible and enjoyable. For mobility, seating, and positioning, mobility aids such as wheelchairs, scooters, walkers are essential for individuals with physical disabilities. AT also include customized seating systems that ensure proper posture and comfort, reducing the risk of pressure sores and other complications. Everyday tasks like eating, dressing, and grooming can be challenging for individuals with certain disabilities. So AT provides adaptive utensils, dressing aids, and personal care devices that make these activities easier and more manageable, which enhances independence and quality of life. Environmental adaptation also include modification of living environments, such as installing stair lift, ramps, automated door openers. And I'm sure you guys all have smart home, at least one of smart home technology that allow individuals to control lights, temperatures, and security systems through voice commands or mobile apps, making their homes more accessible and safer. Vehicle modification and transportation. For those who need to travel, vehicle modifications like hand controls, wheelchair lifts, and adaptive driving aids are crucial. These modifications enable individuals to drive safely and maintain their mobility and independence. Computers and automated home technologies are very popular nowadays, right? So some of the things include computer adaptation like alternative keyboards, voice recognition software, screen readers. Automated home technologies such as smart assistant and home control system allow for greater independence. Lastly, recreation, sport, and leisure. So recreation is vital. It's very important for overall well-being. And AT ensures that everyone can participate. This includes adaptive sports equipment such as hand cycles or sit skis, as well as accessible gaming devices that make video games playable for individuals with physical or cognitive disabilities. So really, assist technology is about breaking down barriers and opening up opportunities across all aspects of life. It provides tailored solutions that address specific functional needs, which enable individuals to lead more fulfilling life, engage in their communities, and pursue their passions without limitation. Next slide, please. So AT Act provides federal funding to states and territories to support programs that ensure people with disabilities have access to AT they need to live more independently. You can find more information about AT Act programs in your state or territory by visiting this website here that is linked. Next slide, please. And also, if you like to connect with the AT Act program specifically, here are different resources that we provided. First one is ACL, Administration for Community Living, which is for the direct inquiries about the AT Act. So now I will hand it over to Melinda.
Thank you, Bora, and thank you again, everybody, for who are joining us this afternoon. I'm guessing a lot of you, probably all of you, maybe are from Georgia, or maybe in one of the states that are around it. But one of the things that we loved about this presentation was that it really kind of provides examples of recreation in outside of just one state. So within the AT program, there's 56 of us. And so, we're sister programs with Utah and Bora. with you guys and Tools for Life and all of the others. So we tend to talk a lot about daily living because it's obviously it's stuff we all have to do every day. We get up, we get dressed, we eat, we use the bathroom, we take a shower. Many times, we'll go to work or to school or whatever that looks like. But within those 24 hours of everybody's day, let's say you work for 8 or go to school, you sleep for maybe 8, unless you're like me and don't sleep very well. And then you still have that other 8 to do something else. And that might be a hobby, and that might be joining a club, having a game night. And we don't sometimes spend as much time talking about those as we probably should, because it's so important to ensuring that you have a balance in your life and you're able to connect with your community and do things that you enjoy and create, a system of support that also enjoys those things as well. So I'm going to talk to you about what we do in New York, and then we'll go over some other examples later in the presentation. Next slide, please. So our goal, we all have a similar goal, all 56 of us, but in New York, we serve people of all ages and abilities by promoting, greater independence through the use of AT. So we in New York serve people from birth to 150, from cradle to rocking chair through our funding partners with early intervention, our vocational rehabilitation agency, and monies follows the person. So 1 in 4 New York, more than 1 in 4 New Yorkers, New York adults have more or at least one disability, if not more. So that's a pretty big portion. And it's not always addressed, for certain groups. Next slide. And just to give you a sense of, how we operate. So in New York, we have 12 regional trade centers that have inventories like the devices that Bora described a couple of slides ago. Each one has, basically a loan library of various equipment that people can come in, they can check it out, they can compare and contrast what they have available and see what might work well for themselves, their child, their parent, their family friend, student, whoever it might be. So each trade center is unique. Our geography in New York is a little funky. For example, we've got the Adirondack Mountains, so you've got a lot of people that like hiking up there. There's skiing opportunities. We did have the Olympics in 1980, so you can see Lake Placid and go skiing. But further down south, you've got Long Island, where there's a lot of beaches and there's a lot of, opportunities that are much different. Out west, it's a lot more flat, and there's a lot different activities that you might find in the southern tier in western New York. So knowing that, where you guys are, whatever the region is really important to helping you kind of understand how you might address recreation. Next slide. So one thing that we look at is not just, offering accessible recreation, but making it accessible as a whole. So it's one thing to say, oh, we're going to have an accessible sport at this day, at this field, but some things you should consider, outside of that box is, what we're going to go over in the next couple of slides in order to make sure that your activity, if you do have an idea, is successful. So, within the AT world, we focus a lot on accessibility, which is basically means that whoever the person is, whatever their disability is, they have the same opportunities to have the same information, the same interactions, and enjoy the same services as somebody who may not have a disability or a different type of disability. It's basically making sure that things are as integrated and equivalent as possible. Now, that's going to look different for every activity, whether it's a daily living activity or a sports and recreation activity, but it's something important to keep in mind. So next slide, please. So what we mean with that, so if you have an activity that you're interested in, or maybe you have an activity in Georgia or whatever state you're in, and you're interested in making it more accessible, consider things like ease of access to the location. Can people park there? Is there accessible parking for vehicles that have ramps? Is it reachable by public transit? Is it on a bus route? Is it something that people can get to? They don't have to drive outside of a city. Navigating the location. Are doorways wide enough? If you're having a game night at a library or public recreational place, is somebody going to be able to get in? Is there a ramp? Are the pathways easy to navigate? And restrooms, are the stalls accessible? Some older buildings and older locations might only have 1 or 2 stalls. They may not have a wheelchair accessible stall. How high are the sinks? And family restrooms, sometimes you might have somebody that needs assistance from a staff or a family member. So having a larger bathroom so that, that person can get that assistance is really important. And these are all things that, we didn't always consider, in trying to make something accessible. We would think, oh, we've covered all our bases. But then sure enough, we would always kind of find something to say, okay, in the future, we need to address something like this. So next slide. And then also communication formats, Braille, large print, just something, what's the reading level of a particular document? Is it something that people of all reading levels are going to understand? Are there words and terminology that are difficult? And is there a need for an interpreter? And is the interpreter available? And then assistive technology, which is Bora and I, and obviously Tools for Life's wheelhouse. Are there AT resources that can support a person's full participation in an activity? And that's really what we want to talk about in the next couple of sections. But equally as important is to consider, if you are going to have a recreational activity, consider kind of the larger context. As we said, what is the transportation situation? Are people able to have access with different formats? And then we'll go into a few examples on the next page in terms of how assistive technology can help with a lot of these different areas. Nope, there we go. So here's a couple of examples of some things you might find in New York and potentially in other states as well, probably in other states as well. So in that top right corner or top left, I'm sorry, is an I am just tripping over my words today, an accessible playing card holder. So for somebody that, needs to hold up their cards and have their best poker face, this is actually a device that we 3D printed. They're very readily available, commercially to purchase. But for us, it makes sense to make them using 3D printing because we can customize them. So we also have some large print playing cards. So if this is, a friendly poker game, having something like this available can be really, really helpful and really, really, opens up a lot of doors for somebody. On the right are some accessible gardening tools. These have some extended grips for people that might have difficulty with range of motion or maybe arthritis. We've loaned these out many times and they're very, very, helpful to a lot of people just interested in having their own garden. Bottom left is somebody using an accessible video game controller. This is something that Tools for Life has some really cool stuff on, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But gaming is huge, not just for teenagers anymore. It's a fun group activity that really, especially during COVID, brought people together. It was fun, friendly competition, and some people make pretty good money at it. And then the last picture here is a switch operated toy. So it's a little difficult to see, but that child has a little yellow button in her hand. And when she presses it, that toy moves. I think it has music. These types of toys are great for, anybody that might not have those fine motor skills to press buttons, to grip soft areas of toys. So by pressing that, the child is able to interact with the toy, have those sensory needs met, and still have access to something that she finds fun. Next slide. And then these are just a couple of pictures from our trade programs that had a lot of fun with accessible recreation. On the left there is our Queensbury office. They like to tailor their outreach to the season. So this is an accessible bike that they dressed up as Jigsaw from the Saw movies, just to have a fun video to show that, anybody can use these. It's not just, it's not just people that need a trike who are younger. On the top right is me, actually at an outdoor recreation event with some examples of some assistive technology. And that bottom right is our beach wheelchair that we pushed our staff into the very cold Hudson River, but he was a trooper to show how those work. Next slide. So in New York, we have a couple of examples of partnerships that we have that we encourage people steal these ideas if you haven't thought of them, or if you have something you think could work better where you are. Please replicate these or build on them and make them as amazing as you possibly can. But this is some of the things that we're doing, among other things. So next slide. So we've partnered with Paul Smith College in SUNY Plattsburgh to increase accessibility of their Visitor Interpretive Center, or the VIC. So Paul Smith College is a university up towards the north in New York, a little bit south of Plattsburgh. So our staff worked with them to measure doorways, hallways, and bathroom spaces, water fountain areas to ADA guidelines. They recommended some next steps. And the goal is ultimately to increase accessibility on those trails. And what ended up happening on the next slide is that with partnerships, not just with trade, But with, other organizations within New York, there is a park called John Dillon State Park that is accessible to, multiple types of, needs for people in wheelchairs, people that have, visual impairments, and we have some pictures on the next slide, but they have crushed line trails that are wheelchair accessible, larger size bathrooms, lean-tos that are accessible by ramp, and then informational signage. They also have interpretive tours as well to describe the nature scene. So this is a picture of one of the adaptive lean-tos. As you can see, there's a ramp on the right. It is open, and it is accessible, to the bathrooms and to some cooking areas as well. Next slide. There's some additional, they have boat ramps that are accessible there. There are accessible um, fishing docks, I believe. So it's a really neat site, and it took a lot of work, but it really is it's a wonderful opportunity for people to experience time in the DAX, as we say. So some more accessible sports and recreation. If we had a million hours to talk about all of the different, options that are out there, we certainly could. But we just wanted to highlight a few, and this one is down in the Hudson Valley, was Bambino Buddy Ball, which Bambino Buddy Ball is, I believe, a national program, which is to have people interested in baseball and softball have a buddy that can help them to kind of more understand the rules of the game and assist with different parts of participating. So our program purchased a Flagstaff Overcomer, which in the next slide we have a picture. Also some beat baseballs, so people can still hit the baseball if they, might have difficulty seeing it. We also advocated for wider fences, suitable parking, and rubberized fields. It's an ongoing project that is unfortunately a little bit slower than we anticipated. It's about getting your community in the know. And in this case, like I said, things are still moving forward. This is a Flagstaff Overcomer. It is a device that you can put a baseball bat, a tennis racket, golf club, whatever it happens to be, and somebody can use it, whether they're in a wheelchair like this little guy here, or it's just, more comfortable for them. So somebody can still participate even if they're not, a traditional baseball player who, is standing up, and I can't play baseball, so I don't know much more about the sport. But it was a great opportunity and something that I encourage you guys all to explore if that's something you're interested in. Next slide. Making toys more accessible. So one thing that's really, really neat, and I'm pretty sure you guys in Georgia do this as well, is fabrication. So in New York, we use a lot of 3D printing, as we showed with the card holder. So on the next slide, we have some more information. Our STEM programs in the Westchester region have partnered with WID, which is the Westchester Institute for Human Development. So what they do is they create switch-operated toys for children to play and learn cause and effect. So if you remember that little girl with the yellow button toy, that's a Switch toy. And so what they do is they post toy wish lists online and on their website. People donate these toys, specific ones, because not everything can be rewired like this. And they will bring in these STEM students to rewire them, to then make them Switch adapted, and then donate them to children in the community. There is a link here to show you how to adapt one of those toys. Unfortunately, PowerPoint isn't always the best with YouTube links. So if this PowerPoint is available after, feel free to check it out. It's a short video and it's really, really neat. And on the next slide, this was an event we did last year in New York City. You can see some of our staff rewiring some toys there on the bottom, soldering them together. I am not an engineer by any means, but even I could handle this pretty well. And you can see some of the toys there. Those bunnies were wired to have switch operated capabilities, so a child didn't have to squeeze the foot of the bunny to play hide and seek with it. They just hit that button. So those toys were then donated, and it was a great opportunity for, kiddos, especially those with, a lot of whom came from lower income families, to have access to these and to be able to play. Next slide. So here's some other examples. Feel free to check them out on your own time. Trails Without Limits, all-terrain wheelchair rentals, which I believe many states have, especially Georgia, and we'll go over that more. Get Outdoors and Get Together Day is a once-a-year event that we have across New York State to show some outdoor recreation opportunities using AT and more. Trade on the Trails. We have an event on the Erie Canal to show people adaptive biking and ways of getting out and being, more active. And then Stride Adaptive Sports provides low-cost lessons and sports opportunities in New York. So check those out. They're all fantastic. But I have gone on long enough, and I want to turn it back over. Oh, That's a lie. Just kidding. This was a test. So we actually, the newest and the last thing I'll say is New York recently launched an accessible map of all of the sites in the state that have accessible sites in our parks and Department of Environmental Conservation agencies. So this is a screenshot of that map. And so each one of those areas, if you click on it for more, it'll tell you every single thing that, is available in terms of accessible features, bathrooms, trails, materials that are posted. So it's a new tool and one that we're really excited about. And it was a labor of love that DEC and Parks had. And it's something that they're going to continue to grow. So feel free to check it out in your spare time as with the other materials. And now I think I'm done. I want to turn it back. Oh, that was a second lie. One last thing I'll tell you guys, if you want to encourage people to learn more about disabilities, consider reaching out to local organizations like the Boy Scouts. This was something that we did on the next slide. We had Adventure Night where our Binghamton staff brought in scouts to learn about different disabilities and do things like wheelchair race through obstacles so that they could learn what it was like for somebody with a disability to maybe have to navigate their community. So on the next slide are just a couple of pictures of some of the students with that, learning about communication devices, video games, and just having fun at the same time. And with that, next slide, please. That is my contact. If you do have any questions about what we're doing in New York, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to answer any questions. Next slide, please. And now I'm not lying. I'm going to turn it over to Bora to talk about the amazing things they're doing in Utah.
Thank you, Melinda. Next slide, please. So Utah Assistive Technology Program is part of the Institute for Disability Research Policy and Practice at Utah State University. And our mission is to put assistive technology into the hands of people who need it and help them afford it. We believe that everyone should have access to those tools they need to lead a full and independent life. And as Melinda shared about New York's program, our ultimate goal is to promote independence across various aspects of life, whether it's in education, employment, or within community setting. We strive to empower individuals through the use of AT. Next slide, please. So as mandated in the AT Act, UATP, we offer a variety of services to meet the diverse needs of our community. They include device demonstration, device loan, device reuse, financial assistance, and also comprehensive training and support. I won't go into each of these activities since we're focusing on recreation topic, but if you're interested in learning more about it, please visit the other link that we've provided in the beginning of the slide. Next slide, please. So adaptive recreation for Utah, we are trying our best to increase and provide an opportunity for everyone to have that same access, regardless of physical or cognitive abilities. So from adaptive sports like wheelchair basketball to outdoor activities like hiking, which we all love to do, individuals with disabilities have numerous opportunities to stay active in Utah. And also Utah is committed to creating an inclusive environment where all can thrive. This commitment is reflected in the state's initiative and policies that prioritize accessibility. And thankfully, as we prepare to host the Winter Olympics in 2034, we aim to showcase our dedication to providing accessible opportunities. Significant advancement in infrastructure such as accessible public transportation, inclusive spaces, and improved pedestrian pathways are making it easier for individuals with disabilities to navigate and engage with their communities. Next slide, please. So here are additional inclusive activities in Utah, and as you click through each link, you can find more information which is specific to Utah information. So for fishing, adaptive fishing equipment is available to accommodate various needs. For hunting, there are different programs and licenses which ensure that the hunting is accessible to all. Also, accessible climbing walls are available when people wants to try out. Especially on our campus, we do have a couple of climbing walls where people of all abilities can come and enjoy that opportunity. As for camping, accessible restaurants, pathways, as well as adaptive camping equipments are available at numerous accessible camping sites. There are also adaptive skiing and snowboarding programs available during winter, and many water sports, including canoeing, accessible boating, and fishing docks are also available for Utahns. So if you are interested in learning more about it or experience some of these activities, please come visit us. Next slide, please. For the next few slides, I'll share how UATP is supporting community inclusion. First one, I will be introducing frame running. Frame running uses a three-wheeled frame similar to a trike, but without pedals. This unique equipment allows individuals to propel themselves forward using their legs while providing stability and support for efficient movement. There are several benefits of frame running. It improves overall fitness, increases strength and endurance, enhances mental well-being for people. Most importantly, it's highly inclusive, enabling everyone to participate in physical activity. It also promotes social interaction, community participation, and is a fantastic way to connect with others. We adopted frame running about a year ago. We started with 3 frame runners, which have been loaned out to Utah residents, but now we added 2 more, and we'll be adding 8 more as we were granted with this grant to purchase 8 more of frame runners. Several school districts have already tried frame running, and they are considering its benefit for their students. So we've loaned out a couple of the frame runners for adapted PE classes, and the teacher really loved it. And as a district-wide, they're thinking of purchasing more for their own students. So I know there are several clinics in the nation that provides frame runner and clinics. So if you're interested in learn more about the frame running, there is a website on this slide where you can click on it. Next slide, please. Top Sports is actually part of our institute, and they provide an inclusive sport league designed for youth and young adults with disabilities. And they offer a variety of activities that promote physical activity, teamwork, and social interaction. They play t-ball, basketball, indoor soccer, and also bowling. Participants can choose the sport that best matches their interests and abilities. And they are focusing on inclusion, fun, and skill development. They provide a supportive and welcoming environment where participants not only enjoy sports, but also gain valuable life skills through coaching, through different opportunities provided by the coaches and volunteers. And how we partner with Top Sports is we provide different equipment and also modifying equipment when needed, which increases the number of participants who play in these activities. Next slide, please. So adaptive gaming, as Melinda mentioned earlier, they have multiple benefits, right? Increased opportunities where they can explore new worlds and experiences. Also provides joy, relaxation, and improved mental health. And also they enhances motor skills like strength, balance, vision, cognition, and attention. And it helps to reduce social isolation by offering a platform for social interaction. For our own specific situation, to further support individual needs, we've also created a little space, sensory space. This room features adjustable lighting options, soft music, various sensory items, providing a safe and calming environment for those who may have sensory sensitivities. So they get to choose where they want to play. Next slide, please. Adaptive gardening. This involves customizing gardening practices to accommodate the needs of individuals with disabilities. So some of the benefits include lower blood pressure, increased dexterity and strength, and also reduces stress level, enhance social interaction, and overall mental well-being. So adaptive gardening utilizes special tools, equipment, and techniques to cater to different abilities. So raised garden beds, they make it easier for individuals to reach their gardens. Assistive garden carts, they help with transporting tools and supplies. Ergonomic tools are designed to reduce strain and effort while gardening. Adaptive planting aids, they simplify the planting process. Automatic watering system and assistive technology apps, they aid in planning, organizing, and managing garden tasks. By adapting these gardening practices, individuals of all abilities can enjoy the therapeutic and rewarding experience of gardening. I've actually tried a couple and they've been really helpful. Next slide, please. So the next couple of slides, I will be sharing more of a DIY projects that you guys can do on your own or with the support from somebody. So these therapeutic trikes are made from PVC, making them both lightweight and durable. They are also cost effective with, for us, a total cost about $500 to build these. These trikes are designed to improve mobility and promote independence for individuals with disabilities, allowing them to engage in recreational activities and explore their surrounding with ease. The therapeutic trikes features an adjustable seat and handlebars, allowing for a customized fit. They are sturdy, they are safe, because we want to make sure that kids who uses them are safe. This feature makes the trikes versatile and user-friendly for individuals of all ages and abilities. So for those interested in building their own therapeutic trikes, we have Instructable that you can download. It provides detailed instruction with the photos and diagrams. So if you have any question, please let us know and we can support in building these devices. And we frequently receive requests to build these trikes for school. However, it does take some time to build them, right? So to meet this demand, we organize community days where volunteers and community members come together to assemble as many trikes as possible. These events not only help us to meet our goals, but also foster a sense of belonging and mutual support within the community. I don't have a photo of this particular project, but we also partnered with 6th grade science classes last year, allowing students to participate in building simple assistive technology devices. And one project that we did was students identify challenges their peers were facing with. And with guidance from our staff, we brainstormed together and they actually narrowed down their ideas, designed it, and created a device that addressed one of those challenges. So we provide a lot of hands-on inclusive learning experience for students and encourage them to be more aware of the needs of others around them. Next slide, please. And this project, the sidecar, is a custom attachment that enhances existing devices. Also is a low-cost, personalized solution for various needs. It provides a flexible and affordable alternative to traditional assistive technology devices, improving functionality and accessibility. So we also have Instructable for this specific sidecar for those interested in building their own. Next slide, please. So here are more examples of customized devices. First, on the left, it is a hiking carrier for long trips. One of our staff members designed a custom hiking carrier specifically for individuals with mobility challenges. This carrier empowers them to embark on long trips and outdoor adventures, offering the freedom to explore and enjoy nature in ways they were previously out of reach. The middle photo is a button-activated brake system. This design enhances safety and control, allowing users to easily engage the brakes with just a touch, providing greater independence and peace of mind when they are going around. The last one is a Nerf gun mounted on wheelchair. So during COVID, we received a request from a person in California who was struggling with social isolation and had limited opportunities to go outside due to a lot of restriction in place. In response, although we don't do a lot of work outside of our state, we thought this will be a good opportunity to partner with other states. So we developed a creative project that involved mounting a Nerf gun on the wheelchair. So designed purely for fun, right? This project demonstrates how assistive technology can bring joy and entertainment into people's lives, even in challenging times. Next slide, please. And here are just a couple more examples. One of our partner who's an OT, he loves to play banjo as his hobby, but he couldn't play often due to the back pain that he experienced. So then we did a custom open banjo that allows for banjo to freestand. So just adding a stand to the banjo. So it's a very simple, quick DIY project that can be easily adopted to the person's needs. So now he plays more of his music. And another recent project we completed a couple months ago was creating raised planter beds for accessible gardening. These raised beds are designed to enable individuals with mobility challenges to garden comfortably, bringing the joy of gardening to move to more people and promoting physical activity and well-being. So they were delivered to the local community garden, and we hope this initiative will continue as a community project where we build together. So we've gathered a couple of volunteers to work on this project, and they were successful. So next slide, please. Many of the project cannot be done solely with our staff. With limited resources that we have, we work hard to partner and collaborate with local organizations supporting the same goal and mission, which really allow us to expand activities and services for people seeking recreational opportunities. So first one is Agribility. They provide assistance to farmers, ranchers, and other agricultural workers with disabilities, helping them remain active and productive in their professions. Through the partnership, we can offer tailored recreation activities that accommodate their specific need and abilities. They provide resources for ranchers and farmers as how to stay healthy and active, especially since many of them are older adults. The second one is Common Ground Outdoor Adventures that is located in North Logan and North Utah. They offer adaptive outdoor recreation for youth and adults with disabilities. Our collaboration with them allow us to provide a range of outdoor activities, including hiking, biking, and water sports, ensuring that everyone can enjoy the benefits. Unified Sports, Special Olympics. Unified Sport joins people with and without intellectual disabilities on the same team. So they have a co-ed team where people with disabilities, without disabilities can play. So our partnership with Unified Sports help to promote social inclusion through shared sport training and competition experiences, fostering friendship and understanding. And with our independent living centers in Utah, we can offer inclusive recreation programs that support independent living and personal growth for people with disabilities. And we are excited to announce that we are celebrating our 35th anniversary this year. To mark this special occasion, we will be hosting an event at our headquarters in Logan, Utah this Saturday. The event will feature a wheelchair obstacle course, adaptive gaming, and different art stations. And if you know anyone in this area, please share this message with them so that we can really celebrate the things that we've done the last 35 years. Thank you. That's my part. I will hand it over to Melinda now.
Thank you, Fora. My personal favorites of what Utah's doing are the Nerf gun, and I call it the Cleopatra chair, the device to help people to be able to, if they aren't able to walk, be carried by some other people. I just think they look cool and they're really neat to see. So I'm going to cover what Tools for Life is doing. And when I say, I want to be Tools for Life when I grow up, I'm not joking. The things that are going on there and have been for quite a while are truly remarkable. And I'm happy to go into a little detail. So Tools for Life, or TFL, is Georgia's AT program, just like us, at Trade and at the Utah program. They provide Georgians of all ages and disabilities the opportunity to gain access and acquisition to AT devices and services so they can live, learn, work, and play independently in the communities of their choice. Next slide. So the Center for Inclusive Design and Innovation focuses on services and research in the world of accessibility. They really are some of the best when it comes to accessibility, and they research initiatives on accessible education, accessibility in the workplace, AT, technology and aging, and so much more. They do everything from Braille production, captioning, and describing media, digital accessibility, e-text, and assistive technology services at Tools for Life. So we're going to, this is a slide that was a little bit earlier as well, but just to really hammer home that, of course, we're talking about accessible recreation today, but you will find devices for really any part of a person's day-to-day activities and day-to-day life, whether it's education, employment, or community living, everything that might fall into those three categories. Next slide. So we just wanted to highlight some positive effects of recreation and sports. For people with disabilities, but really for everybody, it builds self-confidence, relieves stress after a long day at work. Do you want to, do nothing, or do you want to go for a nice walk or knit or play a game? It focuses on teamwork, physical exercise, improving physical health and well-being, building social awareness, self-confidence, and self-advocacy, enhancing functional capacity, especially among older adults, helps maintain quality of life and independence. It really breaks down stigmatization a lot, and it helps people to focus on their abilities and move disability kind of to the background. Everybody's on an equal playing field, and it's an opportunity to, stay active, stay healthy, and to meet like-minded people. Next slide. So just some stats for some disability sports in school. So this is a little bit of an older stat. I know that, Martha Rust had looked for some more recent ones, but this is still a good illustration that, in January 2013, the Obama administration put out a letter to all U.S. school districts that students with disabilities must be included in existing athletic programs with equal alternatives. And as of 2020, there were 23 college universities in the U.S. that offered an adaptive sports program. So it could be adaptive basketball, it could be, a whole bunch of different things. Challenge Athletes Foundation has a link that some universities with collegiate adaptive sports have, so you can check those out below, as well as the Journal of Issues in Intercollegiate Athletics. Next slide. So just some more stats about Georgia as a whole. According to the U.S. Census Bureau from 2021, there are 42.5 million Americans with a disability, and that's 13% of the population in 159 counties. So that's a little over 2,200,000 adults in Georgia have a disability, equal to about 29%, or about 1 in 3 adults in Georgia. So that's, just like with New York and Utah, that's quite a bit. And a lot of people that would, like the same opportunities as anybody else. And there are more than 17,429 athletes served by the Special Olympics in Georgia alone in 121 counties. Next slide. So these, those participating in sports or Disabled Sports USA programs, when compared to other adults with disabilities in the U.S. population, found that for employment, 52% of people that were participating were employed, compared to 33%. People were more than twice as likely to be physically active at 64% over 30%. More than half, or more than double leading a healthy lifestyle. leading and reporting a more fulfilling life, enjoying socialization, and looking forward to the rest of their lives, which is huge. You can check out more of that survey at that link below in the meeting materials, but really, it just illustrates that, people that are more active, more involved, and are participating in activities, it just benefits them in really every single way. Next slide. And the Paris 2024 Summer Paralympics, which are going on right now, so please feel free to check them out. There are 22 sports currently competing at those Olympics, which includes wheelchair rugby, blind football, para powerlifting, swimming, and more. There are around 4,400 para athletics, and there will be 140 hours broadcast on NBC, USA, and Peacock. So it really is incredible, how it's being shown more, it's more available than ever, and really to see the athletes that are going there that are just incredible at those various activities and sports. Next slide. So in Georgia, like in New York and many other states, there are a lot of outdoor activities that have accessible components. So there's over 800 trails in Georgia. It's the start of the Appalachian Trail, and All Terrain Georgia is a great resource. There are 12 participating parks so far, and people can go there and reserve an all-terrain wheelchair for no cost. And that's kind of a picture to the right, a little illustration. All Trails, which is a link here, has some of the recommendations for the best wheelchair trails in Georgia, and definitely worth checking out. Next slide. And here's a list of many other resources within the state that have, great opportunities for people. Meetup.com is open to everybody. I've used it for people that I've worked with on my caseload to encourage them to explore different opportunities and interest groups, from hiking, book clubs, game nights, and more. Catalyst Sports covers things like climbing, kayaking, and cycling. The Shepherd Center, which is a little bit lower, offers 10 different sports for people to check out, including wheelchair rugby and fencing. If you haven't seen the movie Murder Ball, which is about wheelchair rugby, I highly recommend it. It is an absolutely incredible movie. Blaze Sports America covers recreational swimming for people with disabilities. Georgia Blind Sports, GAAER, I think that's how to pronounce it, has several different sports opportunities, including audio darts and goalball. And then Explore Georgia, some examples of where people can go to play different sports and the types of things that you'll find there. Next slide, please. And gaming, which, is becoming more and more prevalent in the AT world for good reason. Gaming, we talked about the benefits of physical activity, but gaming helps people to stay connected. It's a way to escape after a long day or a good day, build skills, helps people create, be more creative in their expression, creative in art. It allows them to, stay connected, enjoy an experience all together, where again, people with a like-minded interest in these activities, and it really is, more and more popular than ever before. Next slide. So at Tools for Life, they have their accessible gaming lab, which is partnered with Able Gamers, which is an organization that does serve many states in the country. Georgia has really embraced this. They have a lot of different consoles, so you can see some adaptive controllers on this slide with different games. They've also partnered with the United Spinal Association of Georgia to have 3 gaming PCs with some games installed. And I know this year at Assistive Technology Awareness Day, which was back in April, Tools for Life highlighted this gaming lab and welcomed people to come in and try them out, experience the different games, and to learn about these services. So if you have an opportunity to check it out and, the hours are, works out for the staff there, I highly encourage you to go visit. Next slide. Adaptive gardening, kind of like what Bora was saying, and, some examples we had in New York. There's a lot of different tools that people can use so they don't have to give up gardening if something has changed in their life or they need to explore AT. There's adaptive gardening stools, raised planter boxes, anti-slip paint. So sometimes it's little things, you don't have to explore these massive changes that some people get a little discouraged by or a little worried by. There's a lot of options for everybody. Next slide. And some examples of some adaptive games. So within, the gaming world that maybe a lot of people already know about, like Monopoly, there's ways of making it more accessible here. So you can see a little bit, it's a little hard to see. There's some raised areas on that board so that it's easier to put cards there. I don't know if that's Braille for Monopoly. It might be, but there are a lot of Braille board games out there. AI glasses, large print card games or card games with Braille, card holders, puzzles, active hands, gripping aids, Braille Rubik's cubes, which I can't even do a regular Rubik's cube without those Braille components. So um, it's a really neat, option out there. Guided hands, smart boards, and boogie dice. So you can kind of see up at the top, well, I guess the center of the picture on the right is a gentleman who is coloring, and you can kind of see he's using a device to hold the pen, so that way he can still, move it around, paint and color within the lines or whatever he chooses to do, and participate with other people. And he looks pretty stoked, and I would be too, to have something like that. Next slide. And some music, there's a lot of options in addition to what Bora showed us with the stand. There's beams, music players, theremins, which are, you might have heard them in the 50s with that cool background, spooky music, but they're pretty neat in general. Spook, sound and light panels, and lots of apps that are out there. And many of these things you can see at Tools for Life. So if you have a chance, that's actually Tori right there, giving a tour of the Tools for Life lab. It's a great video to kind of show examples of the types of things that you can see at Tools for Life and really highlight all of the great work that they're doing there. So definitely check it out. It's worth your time to see what they're doing. So we want to turn it over for any questions, but before we do that, we really want to dedicate this presentation to Martha Rust, who was an absolutely amazing person, a fantastic assistive technology professional, and just one of the most vivacious people that I know Bora and I have ever met. So she has presented or had presented with us many times, and I don't know if any of us could do her justice in sharing that information, but this is for Martha, and we'll now open it up if anybody has anything they want to know more about.
Thank you so much, Melinda and Bora. You guys are definitely rock stars in your states. I know that you said, Melinda, that when you grow up, you want to work for Tools for Life, but I think I want to split myself and come work with trade and with the Utah program. There's so many fun things going on. So and I echo what you said, Melinda, about dedicating this presentation to Martha. She definitely was a trailblazer, and we definitely want to dedicate it to her. I don't think we have any other questions coming in right now, but before we go, we do value your feedback. Right here is our survey for you to give us your comments, any questions. If there is anything that you want to see Tools for Life present in the future, we are absolutely open to suggestions. So you can visit our SurveyMonkey link. We're going to leave this up for a little bit so you can type it into your browser, or you can write it down, and you can visit that at whatever opportunity you may have.
One last quick note, and if you ever do want to visit New York or Utah, let us know and we will roll out the welcome mats. We would love to see anybody if you happen to be in our neck of the woods. But just know that those 56 programs are throughout the country. So if you have friends, family, or relatives, or just somebody in a different state, and you're interested in AT for any type of daily living, recreation, you name it, there was a link that Bora shared earlier in the presentation to the AT3 Center. So feel free to check that out. Recommend it to anybody who may be interested. And if you happen to even be on vacation in the Empire State or wherever it happens to be, we're here to work with you and to provide for your AT needs until you depart or wherever you plan on doing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Melinda. A couple questions have come up about the availability of the PowerPoint. Yes, it will be available to everyone who attended, as well as those who registered but were not able to attend the live broadcast. Those links will be sent out within the next couple of days. I will also send out the survey link actually right after this. So if you are here in attendance, I will be sending that over to you within the next couple of hours. If there is nothing else, I think that will do it for us. So again, thank you so much. We have the Tools for Life contact information here. Within this presentation, the PowerPoint, there is also contact information for trade and the Utah Assistive Technology Program. And those will be included in the email that I'll be sending out shortly with the survey link. And if that is all, I think we will call it a day. Again, thank you again to everyone who joined us, as well as Heather, our live captionist. But I want to extend another big thank you to Melinda and to Bora for presenting today with us.
Thank you for inviting us. We're happy to be here.
All right, everyone, thank you so much. We're going to stop recording, and this will be available later. Thank you again.